What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the round 26 Game Day Squad football show brought to you by the Game Day Society. I am Mark. I am back for this show and as always joined by Zoddled. How you going, Glenn?
Hello. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, good. Pretty disappointing week for me last week in the game, in the football comp, but we move on. Thankfully, we don't have much time to have to think about it because we'll have another round starting in a couple of days. What about you? I think you had a better week than me.
Yeah, I actually I'm still a little bit annoyed, but it's more because of. So I finished, I think it was 19th in Classic, 15th in Challenger, and then 13th in Champ. So it was pretty good. Only problem is I could have done a lot better. Like last minute change of Cole Palmer into Barnes as a point of difference. Even though I knew Palmer would probably start since he didn't play like midweek. So that cost me about 30 points, which would have put me up towards the high end. And yeah, that done really well instead of just all right. And then I copped like Robertson not playing at all. And then Van Hecke was my emergency. So I copped a 0 from that situation in Classic. So could have gone even better. But yeah, I also got Romero's -9, I think it was, in Champ.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this later, but another Tottenham player who'll be missing for a while. So it's going to be probably a really good fixture to target coming up. But yeah, like we're getting close to that new cup, the second cup. So we need to lock in. I know that we say this before, like in the intro to every episode, but like it's only a couple of weeks away now. Like was it top 16, I think it is, or 14? 16.
Yeah, top 16. So makes it interesting because it's very tight in that like 10 to 20 range.
Yeah, and we're both sitting in there, but you've just overtaken me again on the classic overall leaderboard. So it's only like, I don't know, 20 points or something crazy. So it's really, I don't know. I worry that I'm performing well above where I should be, and you'll just comfortably go home. But we'll find out soon. But we're here to talk round 26, midweek football again, maybe extended round. We say that we're still waiting on official confirmation that the Arsenal Wolves game that's rescheduled is going to slot into this round as opposed to the next one. So keep an eye on all of the outlets that you use to stay in touch with Game Day Squad. But we're suspecting it will come into round 26, which means it's a double game week for Arsenal and Wolves. So this episode, we're going to assume that's the case and kind of talk through decision-making around that. But if that does change and it actually goes into game week 27, just because that game kind of sits halfway between the two rounds, if you look at the scheduling, we'll make sure everyone's aware that it's not actually in this round because it obviously affects quite a lot who you're picking to try and capitalize. So what we'll do, we'll jump into the first game of the round. There's a bunch of games we get fixtures for here, hey?
So yeah, exactly, because it's like the 3 that are scheduled to start, plus by the time they start, we'll get the 4th game too. So it's another one of those that works real well.
Yeah, so we'll start off with Chelsea Leeds. Now, pre-last lockout, we're talking about Cole Palmer, and I was saying I just have no faith in him. I just couldn't start him probably for the rest of the season. Instantly changed. I'm now considering playing him again, but I guess the one concern I have here is the really tight turnaround between the two fixtures, and obviously Palmer's got that injury niggle, kind of not quite sure what it is, how serious it is, what they're doing to manage it. How confident would you be playing Palmer in this game in possibly a decent matchup?
I wouldn't play him. So he got interviewed after the game, and like it was a real like cagey conference, as cagey as you can be from Cole Palmer. And he basically said that he is still managing an injury. And it's like you can tell there's days where like he can't play, can't walk on it, can't train, and then there's just good days for it. So I feel like this quick turnaround for it, it's like not ideal at all. So best case, he probably comes off the bench and plays a little, but I feel like the manager's gonna manage him.
Yeah, and in some ways that's almost worst case because we'd almost rather him just be completely not touched if we are thinking about playing him. So in that case, does that raise Enzo's stock a fair bit for you this week?
See, it would, but Enzo's another one where like there was question marks on would he be rotated this last game because he's played so many in a row, or would Caicedo as well? Neither were rotated, so there's a chance that then happens for this game. I sort of would have rathered him get rested last round. I know people that played him wouldn't have, but that would have made it more sure that he plays in this one. So it's hard to pick the Chelsea players. They did lose 3-1 against Leeds early in the season and a pretty shock result. And Leeds have been playing similar attacking football since. So it's not a sure thing. And I'm hesitant to pick Chelsea players other than, I say Esteval. And he obviously, everyone was pretty sure he'd play last round, including me. Didn't come on at all, which was good. But it means I'm sort of even more assured he's probably going to start here and be probably the Chelsea pick of everyone.
Yeah, because he was on the bench, hey, and he just didn't get like minutes, but that wasn't because of like any reason other than he probably wasn't needed. So Esabal maybe, Pedro or Cal Pedro or Pedro Neto, either of those guys too. Like, are we targeting this fixture in your opinion? Like,
no, not really. Like there might be goals in this. I wouldn't target defenders. João Pedro could get rotated because he played a couple of days ago. Pedro Neto came into the game with an injury, or like at least rumors of an injury. So there's a chance he gets rotated. I'd say he's more likely to be rotated out. But like Leeds have been pretty good since they swapped up to their like attacking mentality. I had a stat here. Where is it? So in of their past, let me look. They've only been held goalless in 2 of their past 13 Premier League fixtures. And I'm pretty sure that was against like Arsenal and Liverpool. So yeah, Chelsea, another good team, that could happen here. But I don't like that record when a team's playing attacking football. Oh, your mic's cut out, I think, Mark.
I muted myself because I coughed. What a rookie move. I've been off for a week and you've taken over and now I'm just making silly mistakes. Speaking of silly mistakes, before we get too far into it, we're running the same pack opening comp at the end. Not as exciting as your pack opening last week where you ripped over, 100 packs?
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, but we've got a couple. These ones are going to be good ones, I'm assuming. So
probably do better than mine. Multiple.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even think these are all-star packs, to be honest. They're just regular common packs nowadays. So we will rip them open at the end. Get in the comments to enter. Mel's in there. I've just seen her. Mel, hello. She'll be keeping track of everyone, and we'll put your name on a wheel, spin it, and we'll give away some cards. So ask questions, answer questions, do whatever you like. Just to get on the board. And cutoff will be at the end of the round fixtures reviews. So, not really looking defensively in this game. Some attacking options, concern for rotation. It's a lot of red flags here, hey? Like, is this just a straight up avoid fixture almost?
Yeah. So like Estevar, I could see people playing. It's hard again this week, particularly if Arsenal have the double, because it sort of leads you into wanting to play Saka and maybe Havertz, maybe even Trossard if you wanted to. So yeah, it gets a little difficult, especially with Estevar not being guaranteed. Like he may not still start. I'd more like lean towards like maybe Calvert-Lewin. He did score last time they played. Like I've ran the numbers to see if Chelsea are great at defending set pieces. I assume they're all right, but otherwise probably an avoid with most of it. I reckon Sanchez could be a good one because he'll probably concede some shots.
Yeah, no, I think Sanchez came out pretty good in my numbers. He tends to come out pretty good in my numbers most of the weeks. And I think maybe I need to look into my formulas because he doesn't do as well as it predicts him doing every week, but still, not a bad shout. I don't have anyone else in this one unless you do.
No, I think we had a question in the chat from Petty Quicksilver, Palmer or Enzo. We sort of touched on it, but I would go Enzo if you're thinking about either, just because I feel like he's more likely to start than Palmer, but they both may be rotated.
Yeah, I guess one thing that does give me a little bit of confidence is that I think Chelsea rotated really hard in it was either Cup game or a Champions League game. I can't remember what it was, and they were down, and then the new manager just subbed on the first team basically, and they turned it around. So I hope. Well, I mean, I don't necessarily hope, but I think he's going to probably be less inclined to rotate when he's taken over a new club. He needs to get wins on the board. He's probably going to push his better players as much as possible. That's the only kind of, I guess, positive I can see from these tight fixtures in Chelsea. Whereas, previous manager, there was talk of rotating keepers just to keep everyone fresh. So, I don't know. I still, Palmer definitely no. Enzo less worried personally, but been wrong before. All right. We'll jump into the second game here. Still getting fixtures for this one, which is nice. Everton, Bournemouth. I know there's a player in here you're really keen on.
Yeah.
Start us off.
Yeah, so anybody who watched the pack opening stream, we mentioned Rayan. I didn't actually think he was going to have this hot a start as he did, mainly because he's only 19. So he's sort of like a Brazilian wonder kid. He's the direct replacement for Semenyo. He's the physique he's got too. Like he's tall and strong, especially for his age. So that's the first time I've seen him play the other day when he scored, and he's not gonna fall off coming up against this physical league. He's going to be absolutely fine. But he's had 2 games. First one was off the bench. He assisted in it. Second one was start and he scored. Pretty much ran through their defense. Although Luca Dean did sort of move out the way for him just to run straight through. But he's getting some decent stats around that too. So I've sort of rated him right now, and if you can get your hands on him, it's going to be good because in the next 5 games they've got an insane run of teams to play up against. So their next 5 are obviously the one on screen currently, so Everton. Then they play West Ham, then Sunderland away, Brentford away, 2 teams that are worse away than they are at home, and then Burnley. So really good set of fixtures. And if you can have him while he's a pod right now, you might get a jump on people.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because so what I normally do to get these images for the show is I go on the transfer market for players and then just find the image and copy the image from there. Rayan's not anywhere. So I literally had to, this workaround which Tom showed me is if you list a card for trade and then request the player you want the image of, you can then copy that image, which must have looked real sus when I was requesting a Diamond Rayan for a bronze card. Please don't dob me in. But yeah, it's gonna, if you have one of them with these fixtures coming up, it would be the difference between 5-10 positions just purely from having a card that no one else has.
Yep.
Everton have been this weird side for me this year where they have dependable scorers, but it doesn't really feel like it's a meshed effort. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It kind of I don't have a whole lot of confidence picking them, but they still do okay.
Yeah, they've done the opposite of Leeds, so they pretty much because of necessity with the Grealish injury have gone from being a really attacking side at the beginning of the season to going back to their low block. It's meant Tarkowski's scores have boosted a bit even when they concede to what they were. Start of the season, he was still doing all right, but he's way more consistent regardless of the result. So they're definitely a weird team to play against. They've started to concede a lot more stats because they sit with that low block. This is going to be a weird game in general because both teams at the moment tend to concede stats to opposition players. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see a huge amount of GameDay scored points in this game, and it's just random players like an Alex Scott or like Dewsbury Hall, but who's back, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like who's scoring what? Garner's going all right the last few weeks for Everton. That could be a all right shout.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Tarkowski's generally a pretty safe pick most weeks. Not last week though. He only went was it 1.25?
Yeah, it was a weird week for him.
Yeah, but other than that, it's a bit kind of all over the place in terms of who I'd be looking at. What about anyone on the Bournemouth side other than Ryan that kind of takes your fancy?
I think Adley's the other winger. I'm not as huge on him, but it just means like Jimenez no longer plays on the wing because like Ryan's taken that spot, but he does still play fullback. I don't mind Alex Scott in this one as like a huge pod in midfield because he sort of plays that creative, deeper player. So he's going to get on the ball in this. He's taken a few long range shots in the last few weeks. He had a ripper one last week that Martinez saved. So yeah, I don't mind him because I think he'll point stack a little bit. Probably won't score or assist, but yeah, solid 10 to 15 points maybe.
Yeah.
Senesi as well.
Senesi and like a Krupi Jr. as well. Kind of, he seems like he's getting like into like a decent kind of point scoring role. Again, I didn't see the game last week and he did all right, but nothing incredible. But yeah,
you could probably go both keepers here if you wanted to, because this might be a 0-0 or like a 1-0 situation.
Yeah, that Ryan's numbers, like playing 2 games, 1 off the bench, 12, 19.5. He's already got the highest average for Bournemouth in like 1.5 starts. So
yeah,
it's definitely one that like if I need to be hunting down, I think between now and tomorrow night or Wednesday morning.
I only managed to get 1 silver of him in the 100 packs.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I mean, you'd probably call that a win though, personally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, we'll push on. Game 3, another game with fixtures that we have. Tottenham, Newcastle. Now, Tottenham, mentioned it earlier in the episode, but they are running out of players at this point, aren't they?
So many injuries.
And with Romero now out for 4 games because it's his second red dangerous, or what was it? I can't remember what the word is, but because it was a significant challenge.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad, to be honest. Like, I don't know if it seemed like one of those ones where he was in the action at the same time and it just happened to be where they both kind of landed that caused it. But
I agree with that. Like I've seen a lot worse with those type of ones where they go in with the foot raised. The commentators, I think, made a bit more of it than it was too. Like, yeah, he definitely could have hurt the bloke who broken his leg. I think it was Casemiro. But it's not the worst one of those I've seen.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily. I don't think it was reckless. I think it was more just unlucky.
Yeah,
where everyone kind of ended up. Like, if he had have been like, a fraction earlier, or it wasn't a lack of control, I don't think that caused it. It was just like Casemiro was almost equally not to blame, but like as in he put himself in the position where the Romero was already coming through.
Yeah.
So I know like by the rules that's red, but it just felt like quite unfortunate, I guess, and especially in the time where Tottenham need as many players as their captain.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
He's now got. I think I heard this correct. He's now got the most reds in the league since he joined Tottenham. I think he's got like 6.
Wow. And then how many of those have you probably had? Like, he's had 2 this season. Did you play both times? Do you reckon?
Well, I didn't play either. It's just I got his emergency this week in Champ.
Oh, right.
Because Robertson was out.
Yeah, no, it still counts.
Yeah.
So we are running out of Tottenham players, but one player who probably does stand out as a really good option because of that is Vicario. Like in goals, will likely concede a lot of shots, and Newcastle give up a lot of points to keepers, and he's probably one of the few stable kind of first picks that they've got at the moment as well. So I rate him a fair bit this week. Don't know about you.
Yeah, I think he's good. Like this game sort of could go either way just because of how poor Newcastle have been recently. What did I have in my notes? Like there's a few of these games this week where you could like go either way. It's just you got to back in your judgment. They're both outside the top 10 now. I think there's like 5 points separating them. Maybe it's a bit less than that. Newcastle now have no wins in their last 5 league games.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a league away games, but they're horrible away.
So basically, this is probably going to be a horrible game to watch as a spectator, but maybe a profitable game in terms of opportunities.
Yeah, like there could be
I don't know.
Bruno Guimaraes and Anthony Gordon have been the two main like ones involved in goals in this recent history. So that'd be the ones I'd back, but Gordon's probably still out injured. I think it might have even been confirmed he is. So
okay.
Barnes again, he wasn't great in last round. I think Bruno's a good one to pick, albeit Bruno could get rotated out since he's back from that injury and it's a quick turnaround. So it's going to be a bit of a risk there as well.
Yeah. With Tottenham, one player who's been pretty consistent since they've come in as Conor Gallagher.
Yeah.
Had a couple of games, both in the double digits, which, to be honest, you probably take that. I think he's listed as a midfielder, in GameDay squad. So you're probably wanting more than the, 12 to 16 kind of scores that he's putting up. But in a team that's not having output, that's maybe an option you can look at if you are wanting to maybe target Newcastle's kind of underperformance.
Yeah, and he plays in a so I'm pretty sure he's been playing as a dual CDM with Polina. So he's the more advanced out of the two. Like he will attack a bit more. So I could definitely see him scoring or assisting in this one, or like in general. So I think he's an all right pick if he's putting up those solid numbers every week, because you're going to get like a spike game like you do with Anderson occasionally.
Yeah. And then the other one that I was maybe considering is Solanke as well, just in terms of like I think he has the ability to like kind of score a brace in this kind of fixture, like he did it against City. So like his quality is just whether the turnaround coming back from injury would be another concern here.
Yeah, I'm hoping Solanke is up to fitness soon, because I don't know how their run is to end the season, but at some stage, if he gets an easy fixture, it's going to be like very pickable, and you'd probably pick in combination with Simmons, because I gather he's the one who's probably going to provide for him.
Yeah, and that was going to be the next person I was maybe going to ask you about as well, is Simmons. Like, it seems kind of like he's coming good since the last, 4 rounds he's gone, not 5 rounds, he's gone 12, 14, 10, 30, 15. Yeah. So they're acceptable scores, I'd say. Not like 30 is obviously great, but the other ones are like you wouldn't be disappointed, but you wouldn't be aiming for that. So there's maybe potentially something like this.
Yeah, as like an attacker, more attacker than midfielder, you sort of got to pick the games with him, because otherwise you'll get like those 8 to 10 points. But if you can get the week where he assists or scores, then you're in a good spot. The good thing with Solanke is because he's a natural striker, it's more likely, I'd say, he sets him up than like a Richarlison who does a lot of his own work to get into the box.
Yeah. Is Richarlison out for? Is he out?
Still a while. Yeah. I think it was like 7 weeks to begin with. So.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, good that he's at least like Solanke's actually timed it nicely to come back into a team where he has to start.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Yeah. Like Newcastle striker. Any idea who you'd be?
I think Visa started the other day, so probably Voltmade starts this. With Romero out, it's a lot better of a play at the moment for sure. It's just you might get screwed over.
Yeah, I think there are like a bunch of decent options this week in terms of forwards. So it's really annoying because it feels like they should both be really good game day squad kind of options. It's just that we never actually get to, you know, use them with confidence.
It'd be good if they moved Visa to a wings. He'd just be as capable out there.
Yeah, exactly. And they could they're two of the better players on the side, so they could easily work it in, and then they'd almost be better off for it rather than like a forced thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thankfully, there's plenty of other options. Otherwise, so we don't have to be disappointed too much.
Yeah.
But the fourth game, again, still have fixtures for this one.
Yeah.
West Ham versus United. Two teams that are actually kind of looking all right. So, I mean, United obviously looking a lot better than West Ham, but West Ham are looking okay.
Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting with the form table at the moment. From the last 5 games, United are top with 4 wins and 1 draw. West Ham are 4th with 3 wins and 2 losses. So in terms of form, they're 2 of the better ones at the moment.
Sorry, that was about time to take a drink. Yeah, so with in terms of United's away form, is that anything to worry about? I know you're the kind of stats numbers guy in this kind of thing.
I wouldn't worry per se, but like they're good away. They're 4th in the league in the past 5. In terms of overall, they're pretty decent. They're like 8th for the season away. So I'm not worried about that at all. Like I think West Ham's turnaround in form is pretty good. It's just I reckon against the better teams is where they're going to start to struggle. So I think United will probably still win this with how they've played under Carrick. It's just West Ham will put up a bit more of a fight than most people think.
Yeah. So with United, you've got the Brunos.
Yeah.
You've got the Mbuemos. They're probably the 2 main attacking options you'd look at, and then maybe Acuna as well, although last week was a bit disappointing. Is there room for all 3 in this fixture, do you think? Or
I would say there is.
Maybe an old West Ham, there would have been room for this, but maybe not so much now.
I would say there is. Like even Diallo, like if you really wanted to target this one, because I think they'll concede goals. It'll just be, I think they had like a 3-2 against Chelsea and they played. So I think it could be similar to that. Maybe even like a 3-1 to United. The thing I'm worried about a little bit is, so Sesko's obviously a really good player. He's come off the bench now. Cunha was the one doing it while they had Dorgo available. Now it's sort of turned into Sesko's role. So because of the quick turnaround, do they give Sesko a start? And who does that bench out of the 3? You would think it's Cunha because Cunha was the one that was bench prior to that. But does Mbuemo get a run on the bench because he's been the one playing striker?
Yeah, like that's because I would probably be more worried about Mbuemo in that situation because one, Cunha came off early last game, so probably fresher for the turnaround. Mbuemo is probably more a direct kind of interchangeable position, although then you could easily shuffle people around to match it based on who they've got up front. I think there will be disappointment because I think there will be, if you are playing 3, I think there's probably going to be one, at least. I mean, Bruno's pretty safe, I'd say.
Yeah, Bruno's a safe one. So you could just like sort of leave it there, but obviously West Ham have been the team to target with attackers. So you're probably wanting someone else. Diallo's probably just as likely to be rotated because they could just switch Mbuemo back out to his usual right side. So I think it's one of those 2, and I don't think it's Cunha. I just have a feeling.
Yeah. Now, West Ham, like historically, have been a good side for defenses to match up against as well. Who is that though? Like who? Like,
yeah,
a Shaw. Like, is that a?
I wouldn't go near Shaw. Shaw, in my opinion, just gives away too many like fouls or like doesn't accumulate enough stats. Dallow's probably the one, and then it's a case of does he play the full game because Mazraoui's there. Delit's still obviously out injured. It's turned into like a huge injury rather than the short-term one we thought. Martinez, I don't mind as an option. It's just he's quite small for a centre back, so lots of the aerial stuff goes away for his game. And then you've got Harry Maguire, who's not the worst. Harry Maguire could be a decent play because West Ham are terrible when it comes to defending set pieces. So I could see Harry Maguire scoring.
I was going to say, this does scream of a game where Maguire is going to score and then just do this horrendous celebration after. But I can't see myself ever playing Maguire. In fact, outside of the games he's scored, he's not really done much. Okay. Jumping over to West Ham.
Hey, Stealth.
There's Stealth. There's Fernandez, like Mel played last week, been pretty consistently, in that probably 15 to 20 kind of score for a while now. It's almost like the point where West Ham got good is almost when Paqueta left. Like that almost kind of correlates perfectly. I don't know if it's got anything to do with it. I doubt
it's probably because they share the ball around a bit more rather than just target Paqueta.
Yeah. So in that sense, it seems like there's a lot of players who are starting to benefit from a change in mentality at West Ham. Somerville, Mateus, Fernandez, Bowen consistently has been probably the one player who's all right. Are they the ones you'd be targeting if you were gonna?
Yeah. So there's some competition for spots now with Somerville. There's 3 or 4 wingers they've signed on his side, but I think it's more just to make sure he stays at this level. And there was a press conference by Nuno a couple of rounds ago, and he was saying just as much. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're bringing on all these players. I've worked with Adama Traore before. I know how good he is. Somerville's going well right now, but I want him to stay at that level. So he should start, continue to be a threat, and that pressure is probably going to make him play even better." So yeah, those 3 are probably the good ones. Taddy Castellanos, I think it is, their striker, been pretty good since he's come in. I read a few stats where I think he's had the most maybe shots on target it was, or chances created along those lines since he joined out of anyone else in the league. Yeah. So he could be, probably not this game, but down the line he could be a bit of a pod to play. I think he went it right last round. I am in Challenger. He's another one where his cards do though.
I think 11 last week's not too bad. It's not a score that would ruin your week, but it's not one that you're gonna win gash on. Yeah. And then you think there's gonna be goals in this.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka has looked pretty decent, a GameDay squad wise recently.
I prefer to target him in games he's more likely to keep the clean like last round. Because with West Ham it could easily turn to 3 or 4 goals and then you're into the minuses. So I prefer playing those types if they're playing for better teams and then still they playing a good team, or in this situation where he's playing for West Ham when it's they're playing a Burnley, they're playing the lower teams.
Yeah. No, that's fair. To be honest, I think that's about it for this one.
There is a chance that the rotation for the United attackers doesn't happen, based on how Carrick's operated so far with Cunha for the first 2 games. He didn't choose to rotate him in for either. He just kept him on the bench consistently. So it could just be Sesko just has to wait.
Yeah. And we got a question here from Stealth. Who do you expect being goals for West Ham?
No, I haven't even checked if it was an injury or anything to Areola. So if it wasn't, it's probably going to be Hermanson, even though I don't rate Hermanson. Coming off a clean, you probably can't change the keeper.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Hermanson was, 23?
Yeah, so he did something plus the clean sheet.
Yeah, so it's definitely pretty stiff if you've come in and then just drop straight away.
Yeah.
All right. We'll crack on so we can open some packs at the end, because that's the only reason I do this show, to be honest, is to rip open the packs at the end. Aston Villa, Brighton. Now, before we came on, you told me a very interesting stat about this one.
Yeah. This is going to be my preview too, but Ollie Watkins had a 55-point game against Brighton 2 home fixtures ago. So not the last time they played him there, but the time before. It was a 6-1 win. He kicked 3 goals, so he had a hat trick. Had what else do you have? Hat trick. I think it was like an assist as well, and like 4 shots on target, 5 key passes. So it was a huge game.
He's starting him.
So probably not actually, because he's back from the injury last game. They've got Tammy Abrahams available, so it's probably going to be like just a rotation between them in this game, which is annoying because I would love to play him after that. And in general, he's been good against Brighton. He's got a career stats of 10 games against them, 9 goals, 2 assists.
Yeah, I think same concern with you. It seems great, but you're chasing like that one result.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's consistent apart from that or not, but I'm going to try and put that out of my mind when I'm making my final decisions, which I'm not great at doing. So we'll see.
Yeah, the injury and likely rotation means it's pretty straightforward, I reckon. Like, you might get some that play him, but yeah.
Yeah. Now, Douglas Luiz, we're kind of getting a sense of all these players that are coming back after the January or coming in or back after a January transfer window. He's looked all right.
Yeah, he's good. So the good thing for him is he's usually, I wouldn't say not this creative. Creative to a point, just not this creative. The thing is, Tillerman's out, McGinn out, and Kamara out means he has to be creative in that role, which has led to more game day squad consistency and points. So he's probably going to continue to do this until Tillemans is back, which is, I think, a little while at least.
Yeah, again, card I don't have, so thankfully I don't have to make that decision. But
it's weird with him because I don't think he was in the game while he was at Forest, so I think he's a fresh play to the play pool.
Yeah, so because I was like, when I saw him there, I was like, oh yeah, I might have one of these just lurking in the background of my club. If I did, there's a high chance I probably exchanged it because it would have been like a not relevant card. But anyway, Emi Martinez, he's one I quite like for this. He just seems like a keeper. Like, I haven't got the numbers, but he seems like probably the keeper who's had the most scores in like 20 range for the season. Maybe Royce, probably Royce, but apart from him, he just like gets points.
I agree. I think he's a good player this week. Funnily enough, he's lost that hothead attitude about him that we were talking about. Which may have been because of all the injuries going on, so he's just trying to be a bit more assured at the moment. So the last game they played, he was really good scorer. They still conceded a goal, but he got plenty of saves. So the problem with it is, having watched the replay back, so many of them were like palms straight out to opposition players, and they just happened to get the double save because they put it straight back at him. He's not going to get away with that consistently. So hopefully,
mate, keep it up. Parry it up.
Parry it up and get the double. Obviously, he's good enough to get those double saves. So most of the time, he's going to be a safe player. I think in this one, he's pretty good as a player.
Yeah. One player who I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about why are they not doing well, Jadon Sancho.
Yeah. And he's sort of like locked down a role with all the injuries they've got to their creative players.
Yeah, a couple of decent scores last couple of weeks. Nothing crazy, but the trend is upwards, which I kind of want to keep an eye on.
Yep, I've got him in my preview as a player to play. If nice. you could play.
Nice. And Rogers and Cash are probably the other guys from Villa that we normally talk about.
Half decent records as well against Brighton. You would do with the last 5 times they've played Brighton, they've scored 15 goals, so 3 a game. As 2 of their better players, they have been involved in a few of those.
Yeah, nice. But Brighton, on the other hand, Aston Villa quality side this year. I mean, quality side, but like this year especially, just next level.
Yeah.
Brighton, they score goals, but they don't necessarily win games. So, do you see them scoring against Aston Villa? If so, who do you see scoring, and is it worth taking a punt?
I wouldn't take a punt on any of them because like there's so many better options, especially for like Villa, who at home we know how good they are. They're even better. So I would be doubtful, and that's why I'd more lean towards going Martinez and Cash because you're probably going to get a clean as well.
Yep.
So the things with Brighton is because Aston Villa obviously lack their creativity at the moment, so it's probably not going to turn in one of those big score lines that typically had against Brighton. But the fact they're sort of their bunnies historically recently, I would much prefer to load up on Villa players and not like touch Brighton players. Because they're scoring less goals, maybe Verbruggen, because they're going to create some chances. He's probably going to get a few saves. There's a chance it's a 0-0 in this game.
Yeah, like Verbruggen doesn't tend to get more than the clean sheet bonus if he ever gets it. Like looking at the numbers, he's cracked 10 like 6 times this year. Like that's like, yeah, Aston Villa will get a lot of opportunities to kind of challenge him, but it just feels like the side's just not set up to deal with that. I guess in a way that is profitable for GameDay squad. Is
the other thing as well is we're not going to know if Van Heke's out because their manager I never see any news about like players being out unless it's like long term. So they just occasionally decide to not play Van Heke, it looks like completely, and don't say anything about it. So who knows if he'll play in this one?
Yeah, couldn't do it. Welbeck, like that incredible like purple patch he had in the middle has kind of dropped off now. Hey,
I'll check his record against them because that's typically the sign to play him if he like goes off against a certain team. 16 games historically against them. Some of that will be for United, some for Arsenal. 5 goals, 1 assist. So not the worst. He does score against them, but yeah.
Yeah, probably not enough to take a punt. Pascal Gross or Rouse or I don't know how to say it. That's my best attempt. You were big on him initially when he came into the league. What do you read like a month in now? Is he
he's been good.
Yeah.
We were talking about him the other night on the pack open stream because he's sort of newish. He's playing that like sort of Bruno Fernandes role where he plays a bit more advanced than the CDM because he's the creative force there, and he's got a strong CDM next to him. So he creates a lot. He gets time on the ball, and he's like his numbers before he left the league. He had like 14 assists, I think it was. I think it was definitely double-digit assists and a couple of goals in that season before he left. So I could tell he's going to come straight back, same manager, and just do the exact same thing, despite being like 34.
Yeah, no, it's like he's been like good, not great. Like good that I'm like, if I get a card, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Not great that I'm not like devastated I don't have one. Yeah. So it's kind of that nice spot for me at the moment, to be honest, in a selfish way. But other than that, I think like Minte's kind of been a bit, like the returns just aren't there at the moment like they were initially. That, like, to be honest, those returns are probably coming from more just Welbeck finishing Minte's kind of attacks, which isn't happening. So yeah, I can't. I would be staying well away from Brighton.
Yeah, agreed. I think we've got everyone there. Douglas Luiz definitely an interesting player. I just checked on he was definitely a new player pool one because I've got the number 1 gold and the number 1 silver from the pack opener.
Yeah, very nice. All right, well maybe I'll hit you off later. All right, Crystal Palace, Burnley. Crystal Palace are back.
Yeah, I had the same in my preview of them, right? They are.
Oh, yeah, and all it took was the big man, Strand Larsen.
Plus Munoz to get back to full fitness.
Well, yeah, nah. I reckon it was all just the energy that Strand Larsen brought in. Couldn't get a game at Wolves, so he's come across to Crystal Palace.
It's interesting. I feel like that was a premeditated, hey, I'm leaving in January, so okay, cool, we're going to bench you.
yeah, possibly. Because, I mean, he's much better than anything Wolves are putting out at the moment. I played him last week, which was... I just had this feeling that he was going to, return. He didn't, but I also played Saar, who did return. So that was nice. Is Saar a good play? Is the next question. I know you have his red.
Yeah, card. I've played him ever since he's back from AFCON. He's gone like 12, 14, 12, I think. So like those all right scores, but he's scored in some of them. So it just, if anything, it's a bit of a worry. He's not doing enough outside of scoring.
Yeah.
This game, he should do a lot better because Burnley allow those stats to happen. I think when he's not playing striker because he had to fill in before Strand Larsen got there, I think he's on Munoz' side from memory, which I don't know if that's going to help or hinder him.
Yeah, because I guess it's not.
Because he might take his runs down that way and then he drops deeper for Munoz to get him behind.
Yeah. No, I probably... Well, I mean, I think Sards... I think the fact that they're probably the two most creative players in the side means that they'll have to work that out before they go in.
He could do what Salah typically does when he gets an overlap in fullback and he cuts inside early and tends to play better there. So it could be the same for Saar. He's definitely a play. I would play him in this game. And I'm playing him in Champ at the moment, probably Challenge. I'm not sure about Classic yet. It comes down to the Arsenal, if Arsenal have the double up or not, whether I play him, I reckon.
Yeah. I probably actually... I was going to say I could work out that for stealth when it was the last time Burnley had a shot on goal.
So the reason I'm not too put off by Dean Henderson this, usually I am with the keepers playing Burnley, is Palace sit with a low block, and I'm pretty sure they consistently do it regardless of who they play. So I think there will be some Burnley chances, and they'll be easier for Henderson to get a save for. So it might end up with if he gets a clean, maybe a 14-16 instead of a 10.
Yeah. So Munoz back.
Yep.
Probably it is a great game to start him. Attacking defenders in a game against Burnley. This is where dreams are made. I assume you're starting him, hey?
Yeah. I think you could probably go back to Palace 3 or 4 defenders in this one. Munoz, you could go Mitchell because Strand Larsen's someone to target and he's great at crossing. You could go Henderson. You could play Richards and Lacroix too, particularly if you're confident they do hold the clean sheet and it's a home game.
Yeah. The Croy, whatever, is someone who I kind of see as almost a barometer for that Crystal Palace defense, where they're probably not going to go those massive scores, but then they're if they're sitting consistently decent, that the guys around them are probably going to be going to level up. But when the guys around are going lower, he's still kind of sitting at that decent level. So I don't mind it. I think, again, with the potential double Arsenal fixture, there might not be enough spots for too many Crystal Palace defenders. I think Munoz is number one choice. But yeah, Burnley, any interest at all? I don't.
Dubravka, because you'll get chances against him, and there's it could be a 0 the way these two play. I do think Strand Larsen or Saar get goals in this though, especially because Burnley are they're not great in general, but away they're even worse.
Yeah. All right. I'm just Burnley had 2 shots on target last week still. And then the week before they had done. It was a day ago. It was
someone I definitely targeted.
West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham, that's right. That's why Hermanson did so well. But that's what I mean with the West Ham sitting and playing defensively. Same with Palace. Same with leads up into when they moved into attacking form. I feel like those are the ones you can play the keepers for against Burnley.
Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty grim. Apart from that, yeah, I think that's Strand Larson. Is that an option this week? Because I'm sure a lot of people probably have a Strand Larson card in their collection without realizing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think so because Munoz and Mitchell are so good, like crossing and getting the ball to the byline and getting it across. So I would say those two are decent players. I'm more liking Mitchell now that I think about it, so I'll probably bring him in too, and maybe even triple with Henderson. And then Strand Larson's the obvious one. Like if you think they are going to assist him, big target in the box.
Would you go a Strand Larson over a Saar?
It might be the fixture for it, just because with the way Burnley set up and defend that low block and play stretched across, it might be hard for Saar to find space. Happened a couple of rounds ago when he was stuck at striker in a similar type of game. I forget who it was against. And then I think the only reason he scored was because he got a penalty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, look, spoilers. I've got Saar on my side at the moment, but I'm probably going to swap it to Strand Larson because I'm sure I've got a card sitting around in there somewhere. All right, I'll keep going. Obviously, we've got fixtures Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, and then a Friday morning game as well.
Yeah.
So, City Fulham, Haaland's back. The week I don't play him.
I got super lucky. I had him sit in emergency as a silver in Classic, and then Esteval didn't play.
Yeah, I feel like it was a good week. I mean, it wasn't a good week to play him, but it wasn't as costly a week because I think it was a pretty common theme to drop Haaland against Liverpool at Liverpool when he'd been struggling for goals. Obviously that game was this morning, so I haven't. Did you watch the game?
Yeah, I didn't watch it live, but I went back and watched majority of it and all the key stuff.
Yeah. Who played? I haven't even seen that, to be honest. It's all happened so recently.
So Cherki and Foden were benched, I believe, which great for Cherki going into this next round, I would say, because when he came on, he actually did like bits. I don't know if his GameDay squad score reflected that at all, but Marmoush, because he's on that hot run of form, he started. Don't be surprised if he continues that in the Doku role until Doku's fully fit, and then it might be some rotation. Semenyo started, and then Bernardo Silva, who's got a really good record against Liverpool, he played. O'Reilly actually played in midfield, so Ait Nuri started at left back.
Yeah, that's Ait Nuri started. Interesting. So where are you looking then? Because it's probably a decent game for City here at home. Haaland's probably going to be back in most sides. Do you look at Mamouche?
I feel like he's the one who might get a rest in for Cherki, or probably Cherki to come back in. It could be both Semenyo and Cherki, and they play Semenyo and Marmoush, and then they play Cherki and Foden as like cams like they had before rather than wingers. So I could definitely see them doing that here. Haaland, yeah, you're definitely going for. I doubt he's getting another rest for a good while. Maybe like Rangers is probably going to come in for a run and they'll take O'Reilly back to left back and give Ait Nuri a rest. I say rest, but it's not really a rest.
Yeah. Like Rangers is like such a good start, and then I just don't know where he fits now. Like especially with Rodri back in that midfield, like it's I know they're not direct, but there's just not enough spots.
Yeah, and the thing was when Rangers was on the hot run and then Foden found his form, so then Foden took over creative duties, but then Cherki came in and then took over from him. So he's like third in line for that sort of stuff now. So he's just basically playing like typical mid role at the moment.
And it's like it's not as if he ever like did anything to deserve kind of being pushed back. It's just that City. Just had an alarm go off. Yeah, like I think Haaland's good Doku out, so that kind of frees up a wing spot. I don't like it's kind of with these tight turnarounds, City players I get really scared about.
Yeah. And like the other thing is, last time they played Fulham, it was that crazy 5-4 game where everyone expected like Donnarumma, Vardy to all play well, and they got absolutely like shredded. They both, I think, they ended up with negative scores. Albeit they're a bit more assured now with Guehi back there. So I don't actually. I'm probably gonna get sold into it again because I played Vardy and Donnarumma in that one. Probably gonna get sold again with Guehi and Donnarumma potentially.
Yeah. I think I asked you this as Gray was transferred in, whether you see him being able to do enough to be that like top scorer that he was at Palace.
Yeah,
a month in now. Are you liking what you see, or is it?
Yeah, he strengthens Donnarumma. Like Donnarumma was a bit iffy to pick. If you got the right week, it was good. But now it's just like you can probably expect a clean sheet from City more often than not when they're playing anyone other than the top like 6 teams.
Yep. So, like, sorry, doggy's going in the background. I guess like, does Gay come into that like stealth kind of question here? Like, does he come into a genuine consideration like we would have with like Guardiola or those kind of, those defenders for City? Like he's actually like cool.
Yeah, for sure. Diaz is like came on off the bench this morning, so he'll probably partner him going forward, which is even better. Like Kushinov's all right, but Diaz is obviously a step up.
Yeah, like Kushinov, I think we talked about maybe being a spicy pod kind of pick, but I mean I hope no one did it because it wouldn't have panned out that well. But yeah, I think I need to start kind of. I've just got this mentality where I just don't trust the City defenders because they don't do enough, and then they concede a shit goal.
Yeah,
and but that's now looking less and less likely. Cool. Fulham, is there anyone there? Obviously, a lot of negatives on that scoreboard there for matchups.
Yeah, doesn't seem like the type of game for Wilson. I much prefer him in like low block scenarios. Like he could get it on the counter, but he's probably not going to be the one that gets it on the counter. He might assist the person. You got a couple of likely types in. I'm going to butcher his name. I think it's like Chukwuemeka, who plays on the wing, and then they've got a couple of other like pacey wingers that they could go to. It's just it might be a bit of a lottery who's going to start because Chukwuemeka wasn't great last game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm staying away from the Fulham guys. I think, but like I think it's probably only gonna be Haaland, to be honest, who makes it in. I think it is only Haaland this week that I've picked.
Semenyo's an interesting one, but he might not. He might get rotated out, obviously. But he's played Fulham the equal most of any team in his career, 8 times, scored 5 times, assisted 3 times. So he plays well against them.
Yeah. I just worry that he's played, like with him not being Champions League eligible, I just worry that he's played too many games now and it's starting to probably, he's going to need a break. So, yeah, who knows? All right, we'll push on. Game 8 it is Forest and Wolves. This gives me like I want to pick Wolves players again. Like I know that's stupid. I know probably the Forest players are the ones to target here at home, but I just really want to play more Wolves players.
There's logic to Bueno again because Forest do concede stats, or at least they did super early in the season, and it seems like they still do concede a decent amount despite results. So like he'd be probably the one to go again. Mane's obviously been really good, but that centre mid positioning for him just worries me that he's not going to get forward enough, and people will be reliant on a goal for him, and it might not come. I definitely lean towards more on the Nottingham Forest side here.
Yep. What about what's his name? Arakode or whatever is the striker for Wolves?
Yeah, the striker. Yeah, he's a bit of a difficult one because I think I checked Forest stats when it comes to like set pieces last week, and they're not great at them or defending them. So there's a chance. Just it'd be a super pod for sure.
But like, it's probably a pod that would have paid off the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So if we don't really if we're not seriously going to be looking at Wolves options, there's probably some Forest players like Anderson. I think is like, for me, it's will he get enough opportunity in this?
Yeah, like he should be his creative self because it's Wolves, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if he like even gets like an assist or a goal. Again, Gibbs White, that means probably going to be pretty decent because he's always a chance of one of those, and that tends to be near majority of his points. Neco Williams is back from suspension, so
yeah,
he will probably be in quite a few people's lineups. I forgot about him, so he's probably just going to go straight into mine because he'll I'd probably stack here.
Yeah, I was going to ask if he was back, so that's good to know.
Yeah, he's in the predicted lineups from the look of it.
Yeah, sweet. But that's probably as deep as I'd go. In terms of Sells is probably not. That's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
I don't think Sells will play. I think he is questionable, so Ortega might play again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, did Ortega play last week?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did. I was just looking and it was a 0, so I thought he didn't play, but he wouldn't have got the 0.
The good thing with him is he's another one that was in the player pool the whole time, so you'll probably have cards of him from when he was at City.
Yeah, I guess it's just whether we actually want him.
Yeah.
Cool. I think, again, let's not dwell on these fixtures. If there's we've got Anderson, Gibbs White, and Williams, it's probably what we're going to be doing if we are going this fixture.
You could be super pod and pick Lorenzo Luca if you wanted, but it's about having his card once again.
Yeah. Is he
new player pool?
Done. Yeah, cool. Nice. All right. Second last confirmed game of the round here. We've got Sunderland, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Let's start with Liverpool because there's a bit going on here with what's his name? Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
I never know if I'm saying his name right. Am I saying is that?
Yeah, Szoboszlai. Yeah, you could probably say it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Red card. Is it how many games has he got? Do you know? Is it one or
just
3?
The one? Yeah, just the one I heard.
Yeah, because I guess it wasn't necessarily dangerous. It was just unsportsmanlike kind of thing. So
exactly.
He'll miss. Is Frimpong back?
No, he's confirmed. He's confirmed out. Joe Gomez could play, but when asked about that, the manager's like, so he's fresh back from injury. He's probably not ready, and it's a matter of do I want to play him and rush him back once again? So I highly doubt he plays either.
Yeah. All right. In that case, how with Szoboszlai probably their best player this season.
Yeah.
How do you see the lineup looking changing or looking based on him not being there? Because he's that player who kind of could be anywhere. He hasn't really been anywhere that much though, has he? He's actually been pretty consistent, even though we like to say he could be anywhere.
Yeah. The main thing that it's going to affect, which is good for us coaches, is because he takes all the set pieces, or at least on one side, corners and the frees. Scored a ripper free this morning. Who then takes the set pieces. Salah's taken some free kicks in the past. Salah tends to be pretty bad at them though, so it would be great if it was Wirtz that takes the free kicks and then maybe takes Szoboszlai's side of the corners, because his value is probably going to go up and he's probably going to score even more than he has been.
Yeah. And then Sunderland have kind of dropped off their form. The starting quality they had when Xhaka kind of dropped out of the side. I don't think he's back, at least.
Nah, doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Main problem being that Sunderland is still undefeated at home this season.
Yeah. So, like, I was kind of thinking that Salah might be an all right option this week, just because there's like it. Look, to be honest, I don't actually know why. It's kind of it has the feelings that it's gonna. I should be talking about feelings on this. We're a factual channel here, so but it like there has to be more opportunities now in terms of the creativeness, I guess, is what I'm trying to put into words from a feeling. Is that right?
Yeah, I do think there's a chance his scoring goes up. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he's on free kicks, because he's probably going to take seniority over Verts and be like, oh no, I'm second in line, so I'm taking them. On pens too, obviously. So if there's any of those, he's taking them. So I think there's a good chance he might score in this if we do manage a goal against him.
Yep. Okay. And then I think you're right. Verts is like a kind of getting into that territory where they're like almost like a Anderson kind of level of scoring where they'll be like good, but you're never really chasing those like massive scores with them. They're almost just kind of sitting in that comfortably good spot, which is nice to have. So yeah, someone who I'm definitely looking at as well. Anyone from Sunderland? Royce maybe could be a decent pick with opportunities. It's just, do they concede?
Yeah, I reckon they might get one against them. There's definitely a chance of a clean sheet, but I still like Royce anyway because he's probably going to get a heap of opportunities to make saves. Ballard again, I like him. We've been pretty shocking from set pieces, so if someone scores him, it's probably going to be him. Michele has been really good at right back. He creates a lot of their chances from there and takes long throws. So you might even get a combo of Michele assist and Ballard for a goal.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. And Lefay or Lefay, like that could be another option in there. But I more so would be looking at the Ballards and
I prefer Lefay when Xhaka's in the team because he plays ahead of him, plays a bit more advanced.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess the other maybe consideration will be a Van Dijk, but I don't know if there's enough opportunity here for that.
I reckon we might concede as well.
Yeah, okay. So cool. We might just leave it at that then. We'll keep cracking on because we are running long here. And I know you've probably got kids to tuck in again. Brentford Arsenal. So
yeah. This is the game.
Yeah. Maybe the first Arsenal fixture. Like most likely the first of two. I'm assuming it's going to come into this game week, but yeah. It's like we're obviously going to hit, like if it is confirmed that Arsenal are getting the double game week, we're going to hit them pretty hard because for those who haven't been around where there's double game weeks in different sports, you get the highest score from the 2 weeks. You don't get the combined like some other competitions. You just get the highest out of the two. So it's not like a guaranteed better score, but it's just a better opportunity. And when you've got like quality players from Arsenal that we would be picking probably anyway, it's just like a really nice benefit there. Yeah.
Arsenal's great for the double up because you avoid all the nonsense with Arteta where it's like, oh, will he won't play this game because they're probably going to play at least one of them. So we need to know this like definitely before lockout. We need to know if this is happening because, and we will. I'm pretty confident of that. It changes planning dramatically because you could easily go Havertz and Saka, and Havertz probably going to start one of the games to opposition that, like Brentford are good at home, obviously, but to opposition that aren't that great. He's more likely probably to start the Wolves game because he started a few days ago, so the easier fixture. Then you've got Saka, who's back from injury, I reckon, for this one, but he's probably only going to start for one of them. So without the double up, you're probably not going either of them, or you're probably on one at a stretch. The same thing's probably the case in defence because with the quick turnarounds, especially from this game to the one that they just played a couple of days ago, you're probably going to see a rotation maybe of like Timber with Ben White fully fit. We thought it might have happened the other day, but it didn't. Whereas if it's a double up again, you're pretty confident you can play Timber and Gabriel, and they're probably going to get a clean sheet in one of the games. So yeah, it just dramatically changes what you'll do with your like squad build.
Yeah. So I guess we should look at this fixture in like two different kind of segments. First of all, assuming Arsenal get 2 games, who would be your priority picks from Arsenal?
Yeah, definitely be those 4 plus Raya. Like, because you got to think with these 2 games, they're not the hardest ever. You're probably going to get a clean somewhere, which means you get David Raya. Worst case, if they get double cleans, then they're probably going to get more point. He's probably going to get more points in this one because Wolves might have a few less shots. So you take away that risk of like just the 10-pointer or the 0. Mm-hmm. With Timber and Gabriel, same deal, clean sheet. So I'm getting them both in on the double up. Because they're probably going to get one somewhere. They might even score in one of the games. And then up top, it's the whole injury with Saka and then the rotation with Havertz. Less chance that they don't start both. So you want to get them both in. Declan Rice should probably play even if it's one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. I think Declan Rice and Gabriel are 2 that you'd play regardless if it's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like basically agree with everything you said, apart from maybe Saka. I don't know if even if it's likely going to come in for at least one of the 2. I don't like. There's a lot of risk around that, I think, in terms of minutes he'll get with it, especially with Arteta not really giving away anything about how bad it even was, that kind of stuff. Like, there's too many question marks for me to be confident. And there's a big week, like there's a decent gap between the first and second Arsenal game where there's a lot that can go wrong with trainings, things like that. So I probably wouldn't take the punt on it personally, but I can see where you're going with it. Brentford.
Yeah.
It's like good at home.
Yeah.
Arsenal best defense in the league though. Thiago would probably be your best shout. Maybe not a good option. That's where my head is.
Yeah, so my rule of Thiago that I've got with always play Thiago and Brentford at home sort of flies out the window here because it's like a few of the teams, like obviously Arsenal, probably like there'd definitely be a few others that are high up and like not his sort of game, particularly with going up against like Gabriel. I reckon Gabriel's going to have a pretty fun time marking him.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of leaves no one from Brentford that you would be looking at. Like
maybe Kelleher because it could be low scoring, the way Arsenal sort of set up after they score.
Yeah, no, that's true. But then if it's low scoring, I like with that kind of thing, I always just feel like he's either going to get opportunities because they're genuine threats, which means that they will probably score, or he won't get opportunities because there won't be the threat. So yeah, it'd be pretty ballsy, I think, playing Kelleher against Arsenal. All right. We'll push on to the last maybe game of the round, which is Wolves Arsenal again. And we've spoken about both these teams. So there's not a whole lot that's going to change because we're going to have to lock in the players at the first point anyway. So I guess one thing we didn't really touch on was that Wolves are getting a double fixture here.
Yeah.
Does that change anything for you? Because one of them's against Arsenal.
Yeah, it's sort of like if it was 2 against like mid-table teams, it'd be a bit more appealing. But the fact that like anybody but Arsenal or City maybe, but the fact it's up against Arsenal, it's like you may as well take it as what's their one game. Forest, which isn't too bad, so you could risk it, and then maybe they play similar to they did last time they met Arsenal and go all right.
Yeah, I can't really see them getting much done against Arsenal. So it's effectively a one gamer still.
Yeah.
But
much
this is
prefer
probably
them if their home game was the Forest one.
Yeah, no, that's a great shout. This is the probably Arsenal game that we want to be targeting in the double vote because
Yeah.
Wolves could crumble in this pretty easily. It's just whether Arsenal will actually push enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about these two, or do you want to just like push on because we've covered both teams?
No, I think we're all good with that. Like we spoke about the importance of figuring out if it's a double or not.
Yeah, no, exactly. And if it isn't a double this week, we'll talk about this fixture. We probably won't talk. Well, we're going to have to do a midweek show. That's going to be interesting. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll deal with that later. All right. So we'll look at our two sides. I have rushed my side through because this is your side, but
Yeah.
my sides change a lot every week, but this week it's definitely going to be very different to what we're about to see. But you talk through your side. I'll get this wheel sorted with Mel, and then we'll go from there.
For sure. It's like such a hard week for selection, particularly I've found in attackers and defenders. So I've got Helen there. Most going to play him. Probably should after that performance and the opposition he's up against. Saka's in there at the moment with the premise that they've got the double up. If they don't, it's fine because I've got a few options I could rotate to, like a Saar or a Strand Larson sort of scenario. Ryan, I've been lucky to pack one of him, so I'm going to back him in. I'm hoping he gets another start after the other day. I don't see why I wouldn't. Rogers, just because Villa have such a good record against Brighton, that could change though. But yeah, like I like my forwards at the moment. It's just it will change if Arsenal aren't given that double up. Midfield, pretty standard. So Bruno Fernandes, Bruno Guimaraes is back from injury, but I might take him out just because he might get rotated out of the lineup because it's such a quick turnaround. So he's a bit iffy at the moment. Rice, whether he gets a double up or not, I'm going to back him in. Ideally, I want the Wolves game though for him. Cherky was on the bench today and came on, so I think that favours him. He's probably going to start. Probably going to do half decent against Fulham, I'd imagine. In the defence, Gabriel, he'll be there regardless of the double up or not, because I don't feel like he'll be rotated out, fingers crossed. Munoz, yeah, he's back up to full fitness. He's playing the role he was playing for Palace before his injury. So nothing's changed with him. I reckon he'll go pretty well anyway if Strand last to aim for. Timber's the one he'll change out if the Arsenal double up doesn't happen, but he's probably going to make way anyway for Neco Williams. So yeah, to answer your question itself, because I forgot about Neco, he's probably going to come in there. Tarkowski, good fixture. He's another one who might rotate out. I'm trying not to be put off by the 1 pointer that he had last round. And then Matty Cash, good fixture. I'm going to back him and Martinez in together for the clean. David Rise down there as my other keeper. With the double up, he's probably going to get a clean somewhere there. But this will change a little bit just from us chatting through this show already, and then it'll change depending on if Arsenal get that double up. With the Watkins one stealth, I think he gets rotated out of the lineup because he's fresh back from injury. He was for this round, played 85 minutes, and Tammy Abraham's been signed. So it's a pretty easy, give him a rest, don't make him do too much on return from that injury.
Yeah, nice. All right. We've sorted, so we'll run through my side quickly as well. It's a bit different, and I've already decided to change a few things. So Haaland's back. Havertz, I've got in instead of Saka, like you had.
Yeah.
I think this is more of a safer option in the sense that if Saka's not coming back, he's more likely to stay in. And he should at least get one decent fixture, I think. Cunha, just because of the fixture again. But now, after talking, I'm a bit worried about it, the rotation risk. Bruno, Rice, Bruno, and Anderson. Down the bottom on the bench, I've got Saar up front, who will be swapping to Strand Larson. As soon as I double check, I've got a platinum of him. Anderson in the midfield, and then Munoz, Gabriel, Tarkowski, Timber, and I've got Senesi in there instead of Cash, which you had.
Yeah.
Which I'm thinking Timber might end up coming out for Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because even though Timber has the double fixture, there's like a reasonable chance he doesn't have the double fixture. So
Yeah.
like it's he should he'll get a full game. Well, he'll get like a decent game. It's just whether he gets the double chance that is what we're chasing is the thing that I'm not so sure about. And I've got Raya and Martinez in goals. Martinez pretty happy with Raya. I just never, like, it's just a boring pick in goals. So I'm not sure if he'll stay there, to be honest, but it's probably the right pick. But yeah, that's it for the team. So we'll jump in and spin the wheel. We've had a decent turnout. We've got 10 people on there today, which is pretty good. So let's see, where are we? Get it up and we will give it. So we've got 2 packs to open. Same as always, we'll Zonald will keep a row, I'll keep a row, and the third row will go to the winner on the wheel. But I would take way more than we keep. So the first pack, good to see Aston got in at the end. He's won enough though lately. Did you see he won the AFL stat card?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that's great. But Roscoe from Fair Man Up in with the first pack. And have I lost my mouse? There we go. Sorry, my mouse must have died. It's a drama, almost as much drama as your stream. So
yeah, maybe you should let your empty chair take over for a little bit.
All right. So we got Roscoe up first, and then second one. It'd be funny if Janice wins as well. Got Michael. So
It's fun.
Congratulations to those two. We'll rip open the packs just because I'm starting to get a bit hungry, to be honest. So
yeah.
Let's see. This is the screen. Where even is that? That. I don't even know where that. All right, I'm just gonna have to share another screen because my computer is bugging out. Let's try this one. There we go. So we'll go packs. They should be loaded in. I've got a bunch of bronze packs here. I always say that I should open them one day, but all right. So which row do you want, Donald?
I'll just go middle again.
Cool.
As
I'll
usual.
go bottom. So Roscoe gets the top one here. Give us just silvers and golds in this one. If anyone's new, if the pack just spins like that, it means that you're not getting any platinums or above. So we'll start off with your row. Oh,
pretty good.
Mount and Henderson.
Big Henderson.
And then you've got Dubrovka. Could be handy. Mandus.
New goalkeeper signing.
And Gittins. And then up top for Ross, we have Wolves. Agbadu. We have LaCroix. Very defensive pack here for them. And Perot. Not the best there. I think if I can say if Ross wants any of those bottom cards, is welcome to them.
Same with mine. Lewis Hall's a pretty decent one.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Michael's pack, wasn't it? Yeah, Michael. So, same row?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Another dud. Well, we say dud, but sometimes you actually want those silvers and golds. So, again, no platinums in this one. Start with yours. We've got Neto. Decent shout. We've got Simmons.
Not too bad.
Another decent. And Ekdal. And then for me, we have Ajer, we have Earthy, and we have Collins. So probably not that tempting. Up top, we got Murphy, got Kevin, And we've got Frimpong. Okay.
Bong.
Some potential there. Kevin feels like he should be someone who's doing a bit better than he is.
Yeah, he gets
Maybe just
rotated a bit.
hype. Yeah.
He'll be good. He's quite young, I'm pretty sure. You can have anyone from Iro as well.
Yeah. Beautiful. And same with me. You can have the whole pack if you want. All right. Well, that does wrap us up for the early episode, just for the midweek fixtures. Any advice for the upcoming round?
Just check in tomorrow to see if we do get the double up or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it'll be changed if it is by tomorrow.
Yeah. I guess it just kind of impacts how many Arsenal players we're picking and how confident or how much risk we're willing to take on that. But yeah, best of luck to everyone. Remember, new cup starts in a couple of weeks, so push hard for those last few positions if you can creep up to get yourself in a better pool. We'll probably cover what the cup looks like in the next episode or so, just because it's been a while since it was announced and it's completely different to anything else we've seen. So very exciting times. Best of luck to everyone, and we'll see you next week. I guess there's no after the midweek fixtures. There's no weekend fixtures, so it'll probably be a little bit before we see you actually. So
yeah,
best of luck with football, cricket, everything that's going on.